Hey, welcome back. On my way home, I am Miss Mandy, and today we are talking about teamwork. Now, a few weeks back, I did a video on the types of people you would want on your team in wealth building situations and investing situations. Go check that out if that's something you're interested in. But today we are talking about the very fundamentals of teamwork, the emotion behind teamwork, the reaction, the gut reaction you get when you hear the words teamwork, and why we feel the way we do about it, and why we're not using it to its fullest potential. So let's take that time machine way back and see what we were taught about teamwork as we were growing up. And what we're taught when we're growing up is that teamwork is cheating. That's the first impression that I get of what I was taught about teamwork. If I don't know the answers on a test in school, I'm not allowed to collaborate with my classmates, even though they might be better at math than I am, even though I may not use calculus in my chosen profession from day to day, and I know I won't. But I'm not allowed to collaborate with the person who's way better at it. I have to know what's going on myself. We're taught to hustle. We're taught to grind until the job is done. And if you want it done right, you better do it yourself. But we're taught to grind no matter the personal cost and no matter the cost to others. Doesn't matter who we step on our way to the top of the ladder, right? So long as we reach that goal. We're taught that failure is a bad thing. What's the worst grade you can get in school? F for fail, right? We're taught that anything less than a B or an A, even though C's are passing, we're taught that those are bad. We're taught that you want to be in that A-B range. C's and D's are just subpar. And we're taught, like I said, if you want to do it, if you want something done right, you probably ought to do it yourself. So I'm going to say a couple words that I guarantee will evoke an emotional response in you. And those words are group project. Because once you get past that elementary school stage, you're required to do group projects, right? And what response did you feel when I say those words? Leave it in the comments below, because I know what I feel when those words are even mentioned to myself is a sense of dread, is anxiety, is a sense of remembering procrastination and all-nighters, those types of things. I don't feel good about those words at all. And why is that? Why is it that I feel such negative things when those words are spoken? Is it that there was too much work in the project guidelines? No, I don't think that's it. Most teachers are very conscious about, age-appropriate amounts of work, even if the school systems as a whole aren't. Most teachers are. They like their students and they care about their students mostly. Is it because we hate the people that we're going to be working with? No, I like lots of people. Even in high school, as a person who spent every day in the lunchroom, I liked lots of people. And it's not that I didn't want to work with people. So what is it? Well, I guarantee it's partially because the teacher picks the groups, right? You don't get to pick who's on your team, and as a consequence, obviously your friends aren't on there, and usually on purpose, your friends aren't on there. And then you also aren't allowed to work with the people who have the same work ethic, the same values, the same mentalities as you do. That's a mistake. That's a huge mistake. Why would you want to work with someone who has terrible mentalities or mentalities completely opposite, values completely opposite to what yours are? And then we also receive zero guidance on how to use a team structure. We don't study the most successful teams in the world, the sports teams, the businesses that are the most successful in this world. We don't study what makes those teams successful. We don't study what they do as a team and how they operate as a team. Instead, we're just kind of thrown into it and say, here you go, make this team work however you can. And inevitably, 3 types of people, randomly, end up into your group. There's that go-getter, that person who no matter what, is going to get the job done, has the great big vision, needs this good grade, and is not giving up control of their grade to you, me, or anybody else on this team. So they take charge and do most of the work and management of everything themselves. There's the people who don't really know what their skills are. They may not know what they want to do in their life. They don't need a good grade, but good grades are important to them. They don't want to, disappoint the important people in their life that say grades are important. And they just need to be told what to do and they'll do it. But they have no value, no idea what value they can add beyond that. So that's what they do. And especially because the go-getter out there is going to, take charge and do most of the work anyway. Cool, right? And then, of course, we've all met the person who has no care about what goes on in this project. They don't care about if the project gets done or not. They're probably not going to contribute a whole lot, and they just don't care about the grade at all. So what's the result of this? What's the result of putting these types of people together? Like I said, the person who has the most ambition, the person who has the most fun, that was me. The person who had a goal in mind, the vision, what happens is they don't know how to operate within that vision. I'm a huge big picture person. I struggle to see the small actionable steps needed to take. And what happened in this case, when I was in these situations, what happened to me was I would formulate this big plan. It was going to be the biggest, best project this teacher has ever seen. It was going to use technology and images and things that they had never seen before. And it was going to be awesome. But I didn't know how to break it down and make actionable steps out of that vision. So as a result, I would just get anxious, I would procrastinate, and I wouldn't give up control. I would feel bad about asking anybody else to do anything because this was my vision, not their vision. And as a result, I would procrastinate until the last minute, pull an all-nighter or two, and then turn in a project that was only half of the vision I wanted it to be. And it would get a good grade in the end, but it wouldn't be up to my standards of what I wanted it to be, and therefore I would be disappointed. And then, get this off my notes here. I would learn that collaboration isn't worth the effort because I ended up managing and doing most of the project myself anyway. And that's what happens to those people on that high performance aspect. Now, what I didn't learn was how to effectively collaborate and manage a group of people, which I would have been really good at. And I've only just found that out about myself. I would have been really good at managing and effectively managing a group of people. And if I had learned how to delegate, if I had learned how these teams operate, how successful teams operate. And I didn't learn how to use my unique skills to their benefit, or how to tell anybody else how to use their unique skills to the benefit of this vision. I didn't learn how to listen and let other people add value to my vision either. I had that vision, it was what it was, and I knew best. So it is no coincidence, I think, that we see these same three types of people in the workforce. You see the go-getters, the people who climb the ladder, the people who have a vision in mind and a direction in mind. You see the people who they clock in when they're supposed to, they do the work they're supposed to, and they clock out when they're supposed to with no added value. And we see that there are people who will do just the bare minimum it takes to be employed, right? Those people who just kind of ride on the skirt tails of everybody else and don't add anything and don't really care about the company or the group project or whatever it is we're working on together as a team. That's not a coincidence, right? What happens in school happens in real life, and it's because of the way it's set up to us. Thrown in there, not given a lot of direction, not studying what successful teams do and how the roles they occupy and how they operate. So what does a successful situation look like? A successful group project, as it is in this example? Is it that we just let kids pick their own groups and that'll automatically sort itself out? Well, no, and here's why. Obviously, you're going to pick the people who are like-minded, who have the same values as you do, and that's cool. That's awesome to be able to work with those types of people, to be able to have friends. But when you get a lot of A-type personalities, you get a lot of chaos and confusion. When you get a lot of B-type personalities, you get a lot of confusion on what it is to do because nobody's leading on what to do. And then you get a lot of people who don't even care. they're not even going to do the project. Maybe one person might care enough to do the bare minimum to get by, but they may not even complete the project. I don't think that'll solve any of the problems to let people pick their own teams, because there's still no guidance and no study of how those successful teams work and how to operate within a team successfully, how to occupy certain roles. So what do we do then? Well, you gotta set up teams like successful business structures. I've been saying it this whole time. Study those business structures. And teachers don't know to do this because they were never taught to do it, because they're not doing it in their own lives. They're doing everything themselves. They're taught that they get little support from the government. They have to buy their own supplies, for crying out loud. How would they know how to operate success within a successful system when the system is not successful in and of itself? They don't. And it's not their fault. It's not anybody's fault. But it is something that needs to be changed. I feel that very strongly. It's something that does need to be changed, because we can't be successful individuals without successful teamwork. So what do? We take those A-type personalities and we make them leaders. We make them CEOs. We teach them how to lead. We teach them how to identify the skills in themselves and everybody else and use that to the advantage of the team. We teach them how to delegate instead of doing everything themselves. We, most of all, teach them to inspire. We put the middlemen in charge of daily tasks that need to be done based on their skills. And then we put the low performers in charge of what they're good at. And is it that they're low performers, or is it just that they're good at things that we don't deem valuable? Is it that they would like to maybe create the art that illustrates the group vision to the class? Is it that they could be in charge of the entertainment while the group is working together? They could be in charge of the break times. They could be in charge of the music that's listened to. They could be in charge of, creating a video or something like that creative. And we're not acknowledging these as marketable skills, but they are some of the most marketable skills out there. If they weren't, we wouldn't have an entertainment industry. Am I right? So what happens when we do this? When we teach people, we study successful groups and teach teams how to work together in their respective roles? Well, you see successful teams happen. You see people that grow up to collaborate with one another, to delegate with one another, to own their own roles instead of riding on the skirt tails of others. And you can apply this in any part of your life. You can apply this in whether you're applying for a job that you want and part of a team within that job. You can apply this to wealth building. If you have a vision, you need a team for wealth building. I mentioned that video earlier. So go check that out if you want to know the types of people you need on your team. Most of all, we need to know what it is about ourselves, which part we play in team structures, what our skills are. Because I'm telling you, 32 as I am is far too old to finally be able to understand what skills you have and you bring to a situation. I thought for a long time that being a big picture person was not great because I had no marketable, actionable skills. And that's just not true. I was just built for something different than everybody else around me in the workforce because I was trying to start from the bottom of the ladder and climb up. But really, I needed to start at the top of the ladder. I needed to hone my skills so that I could start at the top of the ladder. And I think a lot of people don't recognize their individual skills. They can't see it in themselves, and we aren't teaching them how to. So apply this in lots of areas of your life. You'll learn how to be part of a team. And when you unlock that, it makes you more successful everywhere when you have people on your team. So that's all I got for today, and I will inevitably see you in the next one. Don't forget to hit the like button to help out the channel. Subscribe if you want to see even more videos on this topic and others related to wealth building and investing and finance. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.